Okay. Yay. Thanks everybody for showing up for this pop-up Zoom that we're doing, really all about our 30 days of inspiration going live every day. So go ahead and I'm also going to be sharing some tips and tricks and strategies that I've been learning personally from putting a lot of focus on my Instagram over the last 2 or 3 months. And excited to share that download with you. So go ahead and type in the comments on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least and 10 being the most, where you feel you're at in your capabilities, let's say, your skill set with Instagram, with using social media, to essentially funnel people into your back office, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's kind of the whole point from a business standpoint. We have other points, which is to inspire and educate and shine a light in the world and all that. And all of that is, the bottom line is it's about creating a greater following, growing your followers, which then convert to customers and brand partners. So it looks like we're right in the middle, 5, 6, 9. Yeah, go Emma. I want to learn from you. 7, 5. I am definitely no expert. This is all brand new to me. I did not even have an Instagram account when I started Purium till probably a year in. Then I started an account and it just sat there for a year. So it's really like a brand new thing for me to learn these skills. But like everything in this industry, it's all a learned skill. So if you make the decision, I'm going to learn to do it. And I'm going to go through the discomfort of what a growth edge feels like. And I'm going to practice and fumble and stumble. You will get better at it and practice. So a little bit about, well, let me talk about our 30 days of inspiration. So yesterday we were on this Green Diamond and Above call, and this woman whose name I wish I could remember, I want to say Maria. She talked about how she did 30 days of, for her, it was interviews, and got incredible exposure and brought and raised up 3 executives that month. So she had her whole team duplicating this habit of scheduling live interviews with people and doing them daily. And so you can just see literally widened her reach, got the message out, got the stories out. She was doing testimonials for her interviews. So health testimonials, business testimonials. She gave an example, like one time she came on with somebody and they just handled MLM objections. She would try to keep it to 15 minutes, but sometimes it went to 30 maximum. Now, again, she's no expert either. So I'm just giving her story, her example. It doesn't mean you have to follow it exactly, but it's inspiring when you hear a story like that, because it means that the time that she put into building this social media content converted into her back office. And that's really what we want to be doing if we're looking at working smarter, not harder. And like the whole idea here is to save time, is to like give you more of your time back by like these tips and tricks and hacks. I saw that Daniela is excited to do 30 days of reels. So doing the live interviews, it sounded like that was a really good business move for this woman in her business to immediately convert to sales. And I would say reels, the primary function of reels is to grow your following. So the way that the algorithm works is that reels get shown to way more people than any other kind of post. And so it's kind of like casting yourself out upon the sea. I just did a reel yesterday that's getting a lot of views, and I just got this notification said your reel is now being suggested to watch on Facebook. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that's kind of what can happen with reels. And it's all about consistency. It's just like everything else. It's about doing it. The course that I'm actually like in a subscription program. So I just kind of pop in there once in a while for tips and tricks. He says to grow your following, you have to post 2 to 3 times a day. That can be more than one reel a day. He said, if you're just posting once a day, you're just maintaining your following. Anything less than that, you're maybe losing. So if you're actually trying to grow, you're posting 2 to 3 times a day. That can, or I think he said 2 to 4. That can seem totally overwhelming. And that's why you probably seen me and Mary Beth and Rita doing a lot of regramming, like reposting. Literally takes 30 seconds. You like find something you like, you grab the copy the link, get it one of the repost apps, repost it, add some of your own words if you want, but also totally don't if you don't want to, but definitely tag them. You definitely want to give credit where credit is due and not act as if it was your content. That's lame. So reposting is really powerful. That can get, if you're using their content and it has their hashtags, that can get you like whole brand new eyes on your stuff. So those are really great time saving hacks. And then it can just bring all kinds of content to your feed that like you just would never have had the time to do, or maybe you don't have the skill set. Maybe you're not a graphic designer or not choosing to put your time into that. You don't need to. Like, that's what this guy keeps teaching is like, we don't all need to be graphic designers to make it on Instagram. It kind of used to be that way. It used to be way more about the looks. Now it's just about putting a lot of content in there and being consistent because it surfaces you in the algorithm. I mean, it should be good content. And there's so much good stuff out there. That's why you don't have to come up with your own all the time. But I will say that when you're making it a habit, you know, like Mary Beth gave her formula when she does her 90-minute time block. 30 minutes is for social media content, not scrolling. 30 minutes is for reaching out to new prospects and 30 minutes for follow-ups. If you're devoting 30 minutes a day to creating social media content, you can be pumping it out every day and you're just going to get better and better and better at it. Yeah, keep putting questions in the chat and I'll address that. And so when you're doing this on a regular basis, a few things happen. You're going to get better content, like you're just going to get better ideas because you're in that flow. If anybody here is an artist, this is an art medium. If anybody here is a athlete, this is a challenge. Like however way you already operate, just make this part of your practice. If you have a meditation practice, this is your meditation. So you're going to get better at it and you're going to be faster at it too. You're going to learn how to like just channel, get those ideas coming really quickly without overthinking it and like releasing the perfectionist vibes and just being able to churn out content. It doesn't have to be crappy, sloppy content to be good and fast. So that's what we're going for. That's if your goal is to grow your audience. And I decided, hey, I live on an island. I don't have a very big following. I want to see this business create residual income for me for long into my future. The future of business is online, the future of, home-based business. I was just like, this would be a worthwhile use of my time is to grow my Instagram following, and then learn how to like convert into sales. So it's been working. I've been getting more followers. I've been getting into conversations in DMs and on the phone from people who are finding me from reels and reposts and stories and reshares. So the other like top thing that you want to do is create content that other people want to share. That boosts you really high in the algorithm too. And so this brings me to a topic of, well, let me pause there and I'll take questions in the chat. And I'll just make a mental note. I'm coming, if somebody helps me remember, I'm going to come back to selling without selling. So that'll be the next topic. So you're not reposting your own stuff, although you can. That's another tip. It was like, hey, go back 2 or 3 months, grab a post that did really well and repost it. People are not sitting there being like, oh my God, she reposted her own stuff. They're just like, get fresh eyes on it. This stuff, people's attention spans are so short and people are cycling through this stuff. That's not actually something I've done, but it's a good reminder. Yeah, you can repost your own stuff that did really well, get it up there again. But generally you're reposting other people's content because it's a time saver. So if you look at my wall, I've got all kinds of beautiful art on there. Sometimes I usually just grab it for the art aspect, and I go like a reel and then somebody's art. So it's like my face and then beautiful art, my face, beautiful art. That's just what I'm doing. It's not, there's no like rule about it or anything. And so are the reposts related to Purium values? Of course, that's what our whole social media should be about. It's our core values. And it can be about being an entrepreneur. It can be about building dreams. It can be about creating a legacy. It can be about what kind of world we want to pass on. It can be what kind of life we want to live, what kind of community we want to help create, what kind of world we want our children to inherit. Sky's the limit, right? Your core values: women supporting women, working smarter, not harder, working in community, being of service, I really like to talk about working in a sovereign way outside the realm of supporting and feeding the corporate hamster wheel that's got people oppressed, whatever's true for you. Okay. And I'll come back to that more about selling without selling. If we're posting 3 times a day, do we do it all in the 30 minutes? No. And this is, you're just going to have to play with it a little bit. You're posting, you want to post scattered throughout the day. You don't want to post and then make another post like a few minutes later. That'll just bury that other one. So you want to it's just that consistency. Like you want to keep your stories full. But if you don't have your stories full, and you let a time lapse, that's a great opportunity. Your very next story slide should have an engagement sticker. Those get you lots of views when you haven't had a story, and then you pop back into the story field and there's like a way for people to engage, like a poll. Boom, you're going to try it. Like, trust me, this is amazing. Like you're like usually maybe getting like 60, 70 views, and then you are off and then you hit one of those, you get like 150 views. It's really cool. But generally you want to keep your stories because that's how people are seeing you. That's how you're on prime time. That's how you're getting watched every day, is when you have stories up there. And again, this is just if, like me, you're like, I do want to grow my following. I do want to get new eyes on what I'm doing. I do want to like weave my web globally and like find my tribe beyond my current network or my current physical location. Like I'm looking to really, cast that net. That's where I'm at. And it's fun and exciting. I have all these fresh new, people that I'm in conversation with, and that makes me want to do my business. Like that makes it exciting and fun. And I can't wait to show up for my time blocks. And I've definitely approached my business with a different emotion. So like, this is the feeling that you want to have. And that comes from like fresh energy. Okay. So yeah, you can definitely save drafts and post them later for sure. There's something called batch recording, where let's say you take the time to brush your hair and maybe put on some makeup and put on an outfit you like, and you have a good backdrop and good lighting. You could record a whole bunch of reels. Like I've heard of up to 30 reels, just banging it out and just having that video clip. And then, you don't even have to necessarily mix it with an audio, but you can, especially if you're doing a voice, what is it called? Lip syncing. But sometimes I'll just take videos in nature or video of me doing something, and then I'll go look for the audio that I want to match it with. So you can just create a lot of video and then save it all as drafts, save it to your camera roll or both. And then later you can go in at another time and draft and craft the full post. Okay, Nora says, you mean calls through Instagram? What do you mean by that?
I thought you said that people are calling you, so I was wondering how they're calling you.
So they're calling me because we form a relationship through usually one of my posts or reels, or they notice they follow me and I start a conversation with them in the DMs. And I'm filtering, right? So like not everybody who likes or comments or shares or views my stuff is going to turn into a customer or brand partner. But I'm like scanning, like who's popping out. And then I start conversations. I'll start conversation with anyone, but most people don't respond. And then of the people who respond and we get in a conversation on DMs, of those, it'll turn into more and more. And like, as soon as we're like having a conversation where it's like, okay, this is enjoyable, like we're both in this, like, let's take it to the phone. Like, hey, I'm really enjoying this connection. It'd be super fun to chat and exchange some stories. And then we'll just make a time. And that's what mini marathons, you can set up appointments to talk to a bunch of people. So yesterday I got on the phone with somebody from Canada, and then she hopped on Sarah's call yesterday, and now we're in those stages of conversation. How do you do a reel with pop-up text? I'm not sure. I have to research that one myself. Like the auto-generated captions. Somebody just mentioned this recently. There's definitely a way. We just have to, maybe somebody who knows, but I haven't.
You do it a lot though. Like you have your image and then like, and
captions.
Yeah, captions, and they come up and then they go away, and I don't know.
Yeah. So if you are on your reels and at the top, you can put stickers or you can type text. You go to type text, type. Did you know ? That's one of the things I learned is like, you can create curiosity with like, you'd be surprised to know that could be your first line, or did you know? And then you can create what part of the video you want it to be there for by going to the bottom where it shows up, that little sentence shows up in black. Well, on my phone, it's black. My phone's on black. Anyway, it shows up at the bottom and you click on it and then it'll show you all the frames of your video, and you can shrink or, you can decide exactly where that little phrase goes. And that's how you can get the pointing and all the different, it's a bar at the bottom. Exactly. And there's so many tutorials out there. You can literally Google any question and find a YouTube of somebody explaining it with visuals better than I'm doing it here. I mean, Nora's saying I've seen reels and hang on one second. If somebody wants to pop in and say anything useful, I just have somebody at the door. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to pop in here and share that there is a social media training that might be worth reviewing. I think Rita led it sometime in recent months. And if you go to superfood.social/replays and you look for the trainings that say social media, there was definitely one where I believe it was Rita. She gave like a step-by-step, like how to make a reel. Also, you could go online on YouTube and search, making a reel on Instagram. And there's like lots of great tutorials that are probably less than 10 minutes. And they'll, show you step by step where to find, how to work the controls. And it looks kind of mysterious at first, but it's actually really easy. You just have to have someone show you like how to use those things. So I advise checking out the social media trainings.
Another thing, Nora, you can do, if you have a computer that's synced up to your phone with your notes synced up, you could type everything you want to put in your reel on your computer and then just copy and paste once it's in the notes on your phone. I've done that when I have all the ideas and I just want to type it in my notes and then copy and paste. Okay, cool. Any other questions about any of that so far? So the big thing I want to talk about is this idea of, right, our main goals on, and thank you for popping in there, Erica. Our main goals on social media is to inspire, educate, or entertain, and all of that to create curiosity for what we're doing. So the way that you want to imagine your audience looking at your Instagram or whatever platform, you want them to come to your page like, oh, I can't wait to consume Nora's content. Like, oh, Nora has a new post, can't wait. Like I'm like, what you're putting on your social media is so valuable that people look forward to and they come away like, oh my gosh, that was so impactful. You don't want them every single day coming away from your post going, should I buy Purium? Like, people will unfollow if all we're doing is talking about Purium. And so this is something I'm also like learning about and really focusing on, is having the discernment between, am I providing valuable content, like something that somebody would actually want to share on their page who's not part of Purium, like it's that valuable, it's that impactful, entertaining, inspirational, educational, that people want your content regardless of your sale? Or am I self-promoting? And I believe that when I came into this business, I was trained to more self-promote. So I've had to like unlearn that. So if you're listening and you're like, I feel like maybe I do still self-promote, don't worry. I think that we got trained that way. And I'm now learning that. And I think that maybe when network marketing and social media first came together, the scale tipped too far of people just taking advantage of, like, now they're in your bedroom, they're in your face, you're like so close to people, that the self-promotion thing got a little out of hand. So I think we're cleaning it up and scrolling it back a little bit. And so now we want to just be beacons of light who are providing something of value to people's lives. Like, I follow a bunch of network marketers, and I can tell that they have a huge following of people who just love what they're putting out. And that's how you're going to grow a following. That's how people will find you. That's how people will decide, like, follow. This is somebody I want to follow. I want to see their stuff every time it comes up. And that's how they're going to choose to see your stories and choose to watch your stuff and share it. So that is a little bit different than, you know, like I said, when I came in, there was always like, have a call to action, put in your CTA. And yes, you should have a CTA in every post, call to action, but it doesn't have to always go directly to Purium. And like I said, I'm still working on this because I'm like so ingrained to like, so check out my, discount code. The call to action could be tag a friend who could use this, advice, follow for more tips, share this with a friend, double tap if you're also, and I've noticed that one works really well. If you like have something you're affirming that people really want to affirm, like double tap to affirm that you're also, or I did that one reel about like, I was like, double tap if you're also a queen fixing other queen's crown or something like that. And I'm like, that one got so many likes. It got way more likes than it did views in ratio. And I was like, oh, right. Because everybody wants to like affirm, like, yeah, I'm that woman, So those are good calls to action. And they're not like, so basically selling without selling means that you're not doing your selling on your main page. Your main page is where you become a person of influence that people want to follow. And the selling is going to happen in the DMs. That's where the selling takes place, like in the private sector. And so hang on one second. I'm going to invite you guys to have a little dialogue about what's coming up for you when you hear about releasing the need to self-promote and how to sell without selling, which is this concept of a funnel into your DMs, but you can also do your promotional stuff in stories. So pop off and share a little bit if something's coming up for you, you want to add to the conversation, and I'll be right back.
This is Nora. For me, it would be no one's interested.
What do you mean for you? It would be that would be the
like I would just get no feedback either way. You know, whether it's a comment, a thumbs up, or like just nothing.
That's what your experience has been so far?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And that's like, you're saying when you've done stuff that Christina is talking about, that's just, or just in general, like, do you feel like you've been more in the self-promoting or in the providing content?
I think I've been trying to self-promote. Like I'm trying to do that. And maybe I'm trying to promote, you know,
right.
And
so
in the benefit.
How does it land for you? Because I have been also more when I look at this, partially because I'm like I haven't been as committed to making time to really create. I'm like fitting in my social media and I'm like doing it for Purium, and I'm recognizing my whole approach is like, okay, like how do I get really grounded and what do I actually want to provide that's of value for somebody else, rather than like getting my widening your reach or whatever it is, you know? And so I wonder, like what Christina's saying is really like resonating for me of like, oh yeah, and that actually feels like inspiring to me. So like Nora, for you, knowing that you've been more self-promoting, like how does what Christina's been sharing land for you?
I think I need to do it, maybe just in think about it more, like, because I've been trying to self-promote, and then I feel like if I don't do that and I'm just providing like entertainment, like I don't have the creativity for creation of entertainment and curiosity. So I find myself looking at others' items and then again, you know, adding that I just can't do what they do.
Mm-hmm. I totally get you on that. I think that's
and like I said at the beginning, Nora, yeah, I think we can all relate. We've all been there. It's kind of like the difference between being outside the boxing ring or the arena and then just jumping in and being like willing to just get hit and pummeled and look silly. And that's how we learn. We have to just get in there and practice. And I've had plenty of people just totally ignore my reach outs. I've had plenty of posts that didn't get anything. I've had reels that, you know, like, I'm like, oh, this is the one. This one's going to the moon. And it's like, like nothing, you know, especially, and I really will say the ones I spend the most time on get the least amount of views. Like, this is not a perfectionist game. This is not where perfectionists win. You know, the reel I made yesterday took me hardly any time. I went to cut down a rack of bananas. I gave the phone to my 7-year-old. I was like, hey, take a video of me. I put it in my stories. I had so many people respond. I was like, oh, I should make a reel out of this. Let me find a good video audio. It was like the 4th audio. I was like, yeah, that worked. Put it in, I wrote some text the day before for a different post, threw it in. I noticed Sarah doesn't even use hashtags at all. So I think I'm going to stop spending too much time on hashtags. Like I might just copy and paste and throw the same ones in, but I've been like coming up with new ones each time. But I was like, oh, Sarah doesn't even use any. So Sarah had a reel. Yesterday, she and I were talking about it because she was like, oh my gosh, it's almost at 200,000 views. She's like, I'm getting like 100 followers a day. You guys should go check out this reel because this is good. Like, this is what's working. After I went and checked it, was it this morning or last night? It was 310,000 views. So it got over 100,000 views in one day. So this is the one where she, and if you've seen it, it's the one where she and Diego are like snuggling, and she's like creating curiosity. She's like, want to know how we've kept our marriage juicy for 14 years? We left the Matrix, and you can too. Those were her little sentences. So she's got all these people like, how do I leave the Matrix? Like, I don't, she said, people are like, I don't know what the Matrix is, but I want to leave it. Like, whatever you have, I want, right? Like, because she tapped into people's emotions. Like hers was, it was evocative of an emotion of how many marriages don't have that juice, right? So there's a core value there. She's providing a role model of something people want. And that's what people are drawn to. It's not about a business. It's not about superfoods. It's not about network marketing. At that point, it's like she's reaching up an antenna, and people are like, ding, 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 that feeling, whatever that is, like, I'll have what she's drinking, like that. So that's really, I think, a great template of what we want to go for is people, you want to put the way that the feeling that you're having in the reel, make it a feeling that is authentic, but also one that you think people want to be feeling, So that worked. And I think that's what worked for my reel yesterday too. I was just like, yeah, feeling like a bad bitch in the orchard, like feeling free, feeling fun, feeling sassy. And that brings joy. That frees up energy for people to be like, oh yeah, let's be wild and free and fun. So, so the idea here, with not self-promoting is just so that people don't come to, like, I've totally done this where I go to certain accounts. I'm like, oh, they're a network marketer and they just talk about their products all the time. No, thanks. I know I'm not ever going to buy that product. I tell myself, so why would I want to follow this account? Because that's all she talks about. You don't want people to do that. You don't want people to come and be like, oh, all she talks about is superfoods. I'm not interested in superfoods. Why would I follow? So that's if you're really focused on products. But even if you're super focused on the business, you want to provide value about being an entrepreneur that other entrepreneurs are going to want to consume. So you can position yourself as, and this is where we get into the topic of a niche. Picking your niche is based on telling yourself, do you guys have Leia's screen as your speaker view or mine? I only see Leia, but
yours.
Okay, good. Just for the recording, I just want to make sure it's just, so let's see, where was I? Niche. Your niche is in your bio. You want to give a really clear description of what problem you're solving for whom. So I help women in their, you can put an age group or moms or women of some certain kind of description. And you basically want to say, what problem have you solved for yourself? And then you can say that you're helping other people with this. Picking your niche is a whole study. I play with it every day. I change my bio every few days, just kind of like closing in on it. And if you're at the beginning of building your career, then you want to figure out, there's a lot of content out there of people who specifically help people build their niches. And you can even just look at their Instagrams and learn a lot. But you want to get specific. So if you have a bio that's like nature lover, nutrition, and you just put like your like things you're into, somebody coming across that isn't going to really know like if they should follow you. But if you're like telling people exactly what problem you're going to solve for them, then they know like, oh yeah. And I think the mind can think like, oh, I don't want to get too specific because I don't want to rule other people out. But there's examples of these niches that are like, you can't even imagine how specific it is. And they'll have like hundreds of thousands of followers. And then the people who are following, they've chosen to be there for that reason. And so they're much more likely to convert into what you, because you don't necessarily need a bunch of followers who aren't actually interested in what you have to share. So yeah, updating our bio is really, I think, a really great practice. And I definitely encourage you to just Google and see, I'm sure there's tons of YouTubes, tons of Instagrams about picking your niche and getting clear with that. And specifically within network marketing, even like the people that I study with, they say to pick product or business as your niche. I don't think certain people like Rita or Carrie are doing that because they're very health focused and they're showing up as entrepreneurs. Mary Beth has really focused her niche on, I help entrepreneurs. And I can't remember the rest of her bio, but she is positioning herself as an entrepreneur mentor. And guaranteed mentor or entrepreneurs are looking for free mentorship. Like here I am telling you, like, go find free stuff on Instagram to watch, to learn. Those are the kinds of people that you're going to start to follow, or at least check out their stuff. And if it's something really good, you might share it in your stories or share it with your team. And that's boosting their algorithm. So, okay, I feel like I'm babbling now. You know, check out some really good accounts. Obviously, Sarah is a great example. And she has grown her following by thousands, probably in the last year. I remember when she was at like, you know, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, not too long ago. And I think at this point, she's probably hit 10,000. You know, yesterday she was at 8,000 something. And last night, I'm just watching her because I'm like, whoa, she hit it. She hit the jackpot. And the thing about getting a reel to go viral like that, you just have to do a lot of reels. It's a total lottery. You have no idea which one it's gonna, like I had one hit, you know, 105,000. I would have never guessed that would be the one. It's like kind of random, but the key is like, if you do enough, and then I had another one go viral. So if you do enough, you're increasing your chances. And there's little things like picking trending audios that haven't been too overplayed. You know, you can get really specific. Make your caption, your captions shouldn't be too many words, because then you can't, like in the amount of time of the reel. Sarah says a real sweet spot is 7 seconds. That's really short. That's how long hers was. So like, even though you can go 30 seconds, even a minute on a reel, I think, don't do it. People they don't have that attention span. They want it to be like they want it to land in a short amount of time. And then they want to move on to their next dopamine hit of the next reel that lands. So making it short and sweet, short caption. I don't know what to say about hashtags. Do them, don't do them, do a few, do a bunch. I don't think it really matters, honestly. Carousels are definitely also favored in the algorithm. I've literally only done one. I need to get more into it. You can take, like, let's say you wrote a really beautiful caption, comments. Anyway, the thing that is under the post. If you wrote a really amazing one, most people aren't going to read it, but you can chunk it down and make a whole carousel, and they're probably going to see it more likely. Carousels are when you flip through on an Instagram post 10 up to 10 slides. People will use Canva and make them all the same, or use a beautiful photo and just put different words on top of the same photo. People are more into reading that way than they are reading a post. So that's a good thing. You can even make a post with a reel and make a carousel out of it. That's actually a good tip. You don't have to come up with new content, but it's going to be seen by different eyes. And people are likely to like share one of your carousels if it's like a really potent sentence. Okay, trending audio happens when you are looking at reels, and in the bottom left-hand corner where you see the audio, it's either going to have the 3 bars for audio that just means sound. That's not a trending. Trending has the arrow going up. And then you can click on that and either just make, use audio right away or save it. The problem when you save it is you can't tell if it's trending, because by the time you get around to using it, it might have expired as trending. So you have to like go back into that audio and see what people are doing with it and see if it's trending currently. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. 30 days of inspiration. So we can either like really focus on reels and growing our Instagram and just like holding ourselves to that. There's tons of stories of like, I did 30 reels in 30 days and grew my following by blah, 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 blah. Or we can do interviews and really focus on sharing our stories, our testimonials, and just know that your stories and testimonials and other people's are educational, valuable content, inspirational. And it does not always have to be about self-promotion, even when we're sharing these stories, especially if we frame it as such. Like, I'm just a podcaster and I'm bringing on this person because her story is like really inspiring to me. And let it be more of like a trickle effect of the sale, and then maybe in your stories at that same time, hey, wow, that interview I did with so-and-so was so inspiring. And by the way, that thing she talked about, it happens to be on sale. Or by the way, did you know that I can get you a 25% discount off of that transformation pack she was talking about? So you can kind of like more put the sale in the stories. Any last questions? I'm assuming everybody here is doing the 30 days, and I'm really excited to see our results and cheer each other on. And I encourage us to sign up for interviews on that tracker sheet, because it helps other people see like, oh, that person's doing it, helps us stay accountable, and we can do cross teams. So all of Superfood Social is using that same tracker sheet to log our interviews. And I'm saying this for myself as well, because I need to get some interviews on the books. So feel free to reach out. Yay, I'm so glad this is helpful. The replay, I'll put it in our Legacy Level Up thread. And as with most Zooms that I do, it's on my YouTube channel. Go team. Yay, so excited. Tag each other, tag me so we see each other's stuff. And let's all take that extra moment to love on and comment on each other's stuff to help boost it as well. And we can even, put stuff in the thread, in our Legacy Level Up thread, of like, hey, I just did this. Could everybody go and comment? Like, feel free. Why not? We have each other. We can do that for each other to help boost it. Whenever you get comments, respond, because every comment is boosting it. I was told don't like every comment until the day after. I don't really know why, but I've been doing that because I heard it. I don't know. Take it or leave that. I don't really know that one so much.
Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome. Last thing I want to say is, if you have people on your team who aren't in our Level Up thread or group, get them in there. They can still apply. It's a rolling thing, and the more, it's a filter, so we know like who's really running with us. But that's where all of our training is happening right now. So it'd be really great to get more people in there and more people into this 30 days of inspiration. Mwah! Have a beautiful rest of your day. What didn't your REITs do today? UBT do today? Thank you. Thank you, leaders who popped on to share too. Bye.